UK. Good evening. What's up, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders Undercover Capes. Welcome to new Comic Crusaders podcast. But today's a special one. These are my Geek Fest editions, year 8. And today I'm honored to have one of the directors of a film that got selected for this year's show. He's done a very cool fan film, but of course he's done a whole lot more than that. The short films, web, he does storyboard and concept. I mean, my man is again his business out there. Who am I speaking about? The one and only Rob Ayling. Woo! What's going on, brother? I hope I said that right.
You did indeed. You did indeed. Thank you very much. And what a lovely introduction. What a lovely introduction. Thank you.
No, absolutely, man. You're really talented, man. I got a taste of the via trailer of the fan film that has been selected for this year's comp, and it's fire. And as a DC fan, oh come on, you see his hat. I think you should start guessing what it's all going to be about. It's an awesome Batman, if you will, Gotham City style universe storytelling. It's really awesome. But before we even get into that, though, I want to know about your fandom. What inspired of all this. So, where did you get your first comic book, or about with that first gleam, if you will, it's a geekdom that led you this way?
So I guess it all pretty much stems back to when I was pretty much like 5 years old, and I grew up in East London, and there was a popular market out there in Walthamstow, and they used to have this comic book stand. And of course, as a child, you're very curious about all sorts of things going on, and everything else. And then I just saw this image on the front cover of a guy dressed in a bat suit, just walking on top of a rooftop. And I just thought instantly, like, what is this? And picked it up, and I didn't pay for it. Obviously, my mum did, so she bought it for me and read the first. Yeah, thank you, Mum. Indeed, it happened to be the Fatal Wish storyline in Batman, and instantly I was just hooked. I was hooked on the character. I thought it was just this incredible human being who trains his life to help others and not be in the same position that he is in. And then, of course, once you've read the comic, you start going to the animated TV series, you start going to the movies, you go to the 60s television series. And, my fandom just grew and grew and grew from there. And here we are now. I love the character and the world so much. I made a film.
And how are those steps in making a film? Was it a hard process out there? Because, let folks know where you're from.
So I went to film school. Which was the big kind of starting point for me. Actually, probably before that, I would say, training to be a cartoonist and a storyboard artist helped a lot to grow my enthusiasm and career in art. But then progressively, I then learned that during my time at university, when I went to study film, that actually live action filmmaking was the way forward for me. And eventually, I went to film school. And there, my craft for filmmaking and directing grew even further. And when it came to making the Batman film, if I'm completely honest with you, Al, it was more about the right place at the right time and writing what you know. So without giving too much away, but back in 2017, I lost my job. And at the time, I was feeling both incredibly down, trying to think, and also financially poor, but also I was creatively stuck. I just didn't know where to go forward, really. And, you can see all around me that I'm surrounded by Batman everywhere. I dress in it, so, I have a hat, and I live it, yeah, pretty much. And it kind of just hit me one day that I should keep myself creatively busy. And I wrote a Batman story based on my own experiences of being made redundant and losing my job, and thinking about the circumstances of someone living in a world in which there is no hope, first of all, but also there is no financial hope for them. And also to throw something else into the mix, I am a product of a single parent. So I lost my father when I was very young. And so I've only grown up with my mum for most of my life. And I knew from that perspective what it's like to be a child within with a single parent, and them trying to bring them up in a financially deprived area. So where I grew up in East London, it's not the nicest or the best place in the world to grow up, but ultimately for me, I was able to push through it and actually prove that, creatively speaking, I could actually push myself even further forward. And that was the basis of living in Crime Alley. And the steps forward was more in terms of just saying, do you know what? Stop thinking about failing to make the film and just make the film, because you never know what's going to happen, really. And without a doubt, it was one of the best decisions I ever made, making this film.
And folks, we're talking about this film. So if you don't know what we're talking about, let's give you a little tease here with the Living in Crime Alley trailer. Wow. Intriguing. Definitely, I want to all right, I need to see this now. That looks really good.
Still gives me goosebumps, the music, even to this day. I'd be honest. That music.
I wanted to rock out right now. Yeah. You chopped up that trailer really well, so that was awesome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, no. Yeah. So I should point out that I love the fact that you mentioned straight away that you wanted to rock out, because even before the Matt Reeves Batman film, one of our influences for the music for the film was actually Nirvana. So that riff that you hear is very much "Come As You Are." And so when we saw the Batman trailer, we were like, they stole our idea. So yeah,
those bastards.
Yeah.
But it's all right. But now you got a Batman, over here too. You got your own in your own corner of the universe now, if you will, another layer of the new 52 or 52 planes.
Absolutely.
This is the alien verse of DC. So
I like
explain so explain your concept of this a bit, if you will.
Okay. So Living in Crime Alley is about a single father trying to bring up their daughter in Park Row, Crime Alley. And as people of the fans of Batman will know, Crime Alley is infamously where Bruce Wayne's parents were murdered. And the film is essentially a short film discussion about what it means to live in Gotham. That most people always say, why would anyone want to live in Gotham? Because it's so horrible, it's so gringy, it's full of crime and everything else. But this film delves into the question, or the notion of that question, which is some people don't have a choice to live where they're, some people are brought up in an environment where they have no choice whatsoever. But the choice that the daughter does have is to cling on to this idea of hope, which is in the form of a man dressed in a Batman costume or in a bat suit. And that is pretty much what the film is, without giving too much away. But, for me, it is a question about justice, ultimately, between, how far are you willing to go to provide for your family?
Excellent. And whereabouts in London or over in the UK were you shooting this?
So we shot this primarily in Bristol in the UK, which is the west of England.
Okay.
because there was a conscious choice to do that because London has been used so many times for the Batman movies, infamously for the Dark Knight trilogy in particular. But I know obviously the Matt Reeves film has also filmed in London and in Liverpool as well. But Bristol is such a cinematic city in its own right. And I'd always wanted to film a short film in Bristol outside and using the city as a canvas, as it were. And I saw the opportunity to create my Gotham into that world and bring a new lens, so to say, to this world. And that was the reason why we shot in Bristol.
I love this shot right here.
Oh yeah, well, thank you very much. That was actually the final shot of the film that we did when we were doing the film shoot. So that was, I think, nearly 1 o'clock in the morning filming that shot.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
So the film that laid out there, they're not harassing you? Oh, look at the city though. Again, it looks crazy.
Can I tell you a little secret, Al, about those shots there?
Yeah.
And you may be surprised. So obviously you can see Wayne Tower in the background there from the So nice little Easter egg for the fans there. But also a lot of that is well, let's just be honest here. A lot of it is CGI. A lot of that is visual effects. So what you're seeing right there is a visual effects of the of Gotham.
Well.
Yeah, some of those buildings there are real, but most of it is all all CGI.
Yeah, I don't think you guys got a Wayne Tower in Bristol yet.
No. I wish.
Wow, it looks very, very, very nice. Holy smokes!
Although I will say that my visual effects artist, the editor of the film, did actually put the Avengers Tower in at first just to mess with me, and I was like, "Come on, man, you can't do this." So like, if we
did you catch it immediately?
Oh yeah!
Wait a minute. Oh, you said hell yeah, bro.
Oh yeah! I initially even said like, you better take that out right now, because if we leave that in there, the fans will be all over us on that. They will not accept this.
That's a great joke. And who's this individual actor? Because he was very intense. Even in the trailer, you see him for a moment. It's like, okay, there's a story to tell.
So he is the father of the film, and he's played by the wonderful Vincent Jerome, who is, well, I've said it already, he's a magnificent actor. He's very talented. He came on board early for the film, having read the script through the fan fiction network, and he contacted me saying he really appreciated what the film was trying to do and what it was trying to say. And bearing in mind this was back in 2018, when I had no plans of making the film whatsoever, because as I said before, I was scared to make the film because the pressures of making a film, let alone a Batman film, it was all astronomical. And I generally speaking did not want to fail in bringing it to life. But through enough encouragement, but then through Vincent as well, they were able to say, just go with it. The worst thing you can say to yourself is shoulda, woulda, coulda. And the best thing you can say to yourself in life is, you did it. At least you went for it and you gave it a shot. And
exactly. A try is a try, man. Absolutely. Because you never.
And I've said it many a times, but he is very much the soul film, I would say, Vincent, as the father.
And who's the little girl in that acts in the film as well? Where do you think people that are so talented, actually, man, handle their business, son?
Oh well, yeah, no, I mean, well, Vincent is a fully trained actor. As well, he's in the new Wonder Woman 84 film as well. So even he's very super.
Wow. That's awesome.
And this is Bella Champagnie. This is her very first short film, if you can believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, this is her very first short film.
Awesome. Congrats for her. That's great.
Yeah. No, she's going to be a star.
And how is that casting? I mean, for the other characters, or did you already have in mind who you wanted as you were building this along?
So in a sense, like I really had no like picture of casting in mind, because for me, whenever I write a script, I don't really think about actors in mind unless I do have the resource to kind of say, actually, well, they might be the right person for the role. But this was for the casting of the entire film, it was really more of a discovery of who was out there to and who was the role, because ultimately that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, first and foremost, do they have the skills? Do they, and are they the role? That for me is a crucial thing, is when they walk into the room, that there's something there you want to discover. And also you want to see where, when hiring them, where they can go with that character. And you see it in the first place in a way that you know who they are, and they are that character. And I have many thanks to say to my casting director for that, because she was able to find most of the cast for me. Vincent, as I said before, was the only person to approach me having read the script, but Bella and our Batman on the screen there were found through my casting director.
Nice. I mean, wow, that's an epic shot. And that's the way I want to see bat ears.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a fan of the long ears myself. So
Yeah,
I was very, very cautious to have my Batman to have the long ears in this one. I'm a fan of short ears, don't get me wrong, but for me, the silhouette is on show when it's long ears. And
exactly.
yeah,
Look how now intimidating. It's like seeing the devil.
oh yeah, no, we were cautious to. So without giving too much away, but I treat Batman in this film like a classic horror movie character, almost like a silent movie character, like Nosferatu. So
Gotcha.
anytime we're not seeing him, it's through shadows. So, perfect example of this is this moment here. It's in silhouette. So we're not seeing the full picture, but we're seeing the outline, and we see, I mean, be honest with me, Al. If you were in the street and you saw a man dressed in a bat costume like that, with nothing, all you saw was a silhouette of that, you would be scared too. And that for me was, yeah,
I'm not moving forward. I'm gonna stop right there. Okay, what's going on? I'm gonna start stepping back. Actually, I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. And for me, it was crucial that the notion of it's what you don't see is quite scary, rather than seeing, than actually being scared. Do you see what I mean? And we were very cautious to build up the suspense. So once Batman does enter the picture, he is what we always expect him to be, which is this mythical character who happens to be real and actually a very threatening presence.
Yep. Yeah, man. But this is the movie poster. Well done. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. Definitely has a story to tell.
Absolutely. I was very cautious as well not to show Batman in that poster there, because again, mythical character, you're never sure.
Yeah.
But one of the things we tried to establish early on in the film, again, I don't think this is spoiling it at all, but it's the idea of whether or not actually if this world is actually believable or not, of having a Batman out there.
Yes.
Because I think that's one of the things I think so I mean, some of the TV shows have got it right, but some of them haven't got it quite so right. But the presence of a Batman for a Gothamite, for me, is a scary notion. We're so fixated on Batman being on the rooftops, and we're always following his journey on the rooftops, in the sky, or above the city in some way. My focus here was to tell a ground level Gothamite story, a story which I think everybody, whether you read Batman comics or not, could actually fully understand from the perspective of a Gothamite, and understand the struggles of everyday life, whether it be the financial struggle or the or any other struggle for that matter, and actually being a parent as well, fundamentally, and being a single parent, which, as I mentioned before, has been one of the things that I've lived with most of my life, and so it's very much this is very much a piece about writing what I know and showcasing that on the screen.
And do you? Let me ask for that question. What type of equipment were you using for this? Because I know I have a friend as a filmmaker within my network, and he does film. So what type of what did you use here? What type of equipment to bring your product to life?
Right. So equipment-wise, we were using a Blackmagic Mini Ursa camera, which I think is an absolutely gorgeous camera, shooting 4.6K, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure quite on the sound equipment wise, but we're using like the best equipment possible, because again, when I said to people I was going to make a Batman film, I had to step up. So it had to be, professional, but also reasonably reasonable in terms of the budget as well. So I had to make sure that I wasn't completely overboard to the point where, I lose money and I don't have money to pay for my own rent or something, it had to be
not renting no Batmobiles for the set right now,
No, sadly, no Batmobiles for this particular one, or a giant spotlight for this one. But it was, I can put to showcase this point, is through resource-based filmmaking. I knew friends who had equipment, who were willing to either let me use the equipment for free, or actually, for a small fee, let me use the equipment. And they ended up being crew members for the film as well. And
nice.
And as I said, it's been this whole film, as much as I would love to say it was all me, it's not. It's a collaborative effort, filmmaking. And so I say this so many times, I thank the cast and crew for all of their efforts, because this was made by fans for the fans. And we have three things in common, all of us, which is we love filmmaking, we love storytelling, and we love the world of Batman. So everyone was so focused on bringing this script to life, and I can't thank them enough, really. And that also meant bringing in like costume designers as well, who also love what they do as well, and they were able to build a bat suit for us. And going to Tiger Stone effects for a Batman cowl as well was a crucial move for us as well.
Yeah, excellent. And how about that first time that you guys, got nominated? How was that feeling?
Nominated for what? I
see that on the poster, right? Didn't you get?
Oh, right. Yes. Sorry. That was. It was a real pinch arm moment, when you're, because it was funny, because I remember where I was when I was finding out about that. So I was like, as you gradually are, you're just, you're carrying on with everyday life, and you're in the supermarket and you're just getting things off the shelf and everything else, and then you just have an email that pops up and it says, nominated for this, and it's like, this is, yeah, exactly. You kind of, part of me just, I ended up going, what? Like really loud, but like, so that everyone heard it in the supermarket. So everyone's looking around like, oh, what's this clown doing over here? But, but it was a cementation that, it was the right journey and it was the right thing to do ultimately to go in this direction, which for me has been always to go forward, and this was the direction that to go down. And again, it was a remarkable honor, and to even go to the festival afterwards, and talk about the journey of where it led to, because this is really in a 3-year journey, this film. And as I said, so much can happen in those 3 years. I mean, look at what we've had last year, for example, and yet we're still persevering, and we're still here now, being able to talk about this. And it's been a wonderful journey, and it was really great.
Excellent. And being part of Geek Fest this year,
Yes.
that's awesome. You're gonna be touring, and I can't wait for this. So is this your first venture into Geek Fest as well?
This is my first time at GeekFest. It's funny because I've always so when we first started out our festival plan for this film, we initially wanted to apply for GeekFest at year 7, but sadly we missed the deadline, and it was a case of, do we submit something which isn't complete and it's not, or do we hold out? And I'm so glad we held out, to be honest with you, because the worst thing that you could do as a creative is to submit something you're not happy with, or you're not willing to, because you're basically disrespecting the audience in a way who's watching it. I'm sure you guys would have understood, like, oh, it's not fully ready, it's, we can still see the story in this, that, and the other, but that wasn't that's not how I roll. Basically, I'm much more of a person that's willing to give you the complete picture and the full breadth of the film, and so you can feel every beat that happens within it. So for me, I cannot wait to tour with GeekFest, and fingers crossed for the end of the year for hopefully an in-person event, because that would be wonderful.
Yes,
and
please.
Yeah. And I think all of us would just really love to well, first of all, we'd all like to get out of our houses. And then secondly, just to celebrate, craft, because that for me is what this is about. It's about celebrating our fandom. It's celebrating our craft. And it's to be able to do that in person and actually, just have more fun with it. Would be phenomenal. And as much as I've really appreciated virtual festivals and things like this right now, and they are great because they keep the spirit of film festivals alive. That's what's really great about this, is that through a difficult time we've been able to communicate and actually keep together through a space somewhere. But I'm not going to lie to you, I'm looking forward to actually getting out of that space and just being able to just even if it means bumping elbows, I'm happy.
I'm with you. I'm with it. I miss conventions. I can't wait till they come back so I could stretch my legs. That the COVID, the COVID-10 or the COVID-15, they call it.
Right.
Difficult to keep in shape, folks. Difficult nowadays. Anyway, all right. So before we go, is there more ideas from you in the future? Are you working on anything planned that we're going to see from the future of the Ayling verse?
Oh, I do like the Ayling verse. I love that. I'm gonna take that. I love that. I read somewhere recently, it's a bit embarrassing, but they wrote the Scorsese of Southmead, which was just complete and utter nonsense. But it made me laugh. Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll take it. But it's ridiculous nonetheless. But in terms of the future, in regards to my own career and aspirations, for me, the next big leap that I want to do is in feature films. So that will be the next thing I do, is actually I'll probably make another short film here and there, because again, never say never, and it's a great way to develop your own craft. But for me, my future has always been in feature films, and I want to make the leap to that now and be able to tell a story that I've had very much buried in my mind for the last 5 or 6 years, and really just go for it and take another leap of faith. And in regards to Gotham and Batman, well, if HBO come knocking, I'm not going to turn them away. I'll tell you that. But I've made no secret in saying that my dream project would be to do Batman of the Future or Batman Beyond. And that would be remarkable. And that would be my ultimate dream come true. But I will say this, whether it's in fan film form or feature form, I will return to Gotham someday.
Excellent. All right. So a geek question before we go.
Go for it.
Who's your favorite Batman villain?
Oh, favorite Batman villain. Do you know what? I'm not going to go for the obvious. I'm going to go with Edward Nygma, the Riddler.
Okay. Why is
And
that?
the reason is because he is a textbook narcissist, and he's also probably the most understated villain of the Batman Rogues Gallery. You know, he is one of the smartest villains, and he's also one of the most threatening as well. You know, he intellectually tries to outsmart the Batman, and he's done that on multiple occasions to the point where Bruce has had quite massive failings because of that character. You know, and whereas most people would say the Joker for obvious reasons, and Harvey Two-Face, and maybe even Catwoman as well, but for me, the Riddler has always been a fascinating, psychologically damaged human being. And I think for many of us in particular, you know, and I'll be careful how I say this as well, but as creatives, we do have tendencies to be quite narcissistic in our own way. So I think there is a lot, not just about creatives, but as human beings, where we do have a little bit of narcissism within ourselves. So I think it's just about either having that one bad day or just having that one bad boss to tip you over the edge. And for Edward Nygma, it was both those things. And that's what's really fascinating about that character is he's doing it because he wants to be known as the smartest individual out there. And that's a really scary notion. It's not about money. It's not about, you know, revenge or anything else. It's just to prove himself to be the best. And that for me is one of the reasons, and the reason why Edward Nygma, the Riddler, is my favorite Batman villain.
Now I want to see an Ayling verse film, you know, about the Riddler.
Oh, you know what? I would be up for that. I would be open to that. I would be very open to that.
All right, my brother. So before we go, can you let everybody know where they could follow you?
Yes. So you can follow me on Instagram at Rob Ayling, or on Twitter at Rob Ayling Film. And you can also follow Living in Crime Alley on the Instagram Living in Crime Alley Bat Film page, or on the Twitter page at Liquor_Bat_Fan-Film.
Awesome. And folks, make sure to check out the Geek Fest Film Fest YouTube page. You can check out all the trailers of all the films on tour, including Living in Crime Alley by Rob over here. All right. Well, I'm Al Mega. Thanks for tuning in on this Sunday. Much love, much health. Yeah, everybody keep safe. And Rob, dude, keep doing your thing. Keep killing it, brother. You rock. And I can't wait to see more. Like I said, truly, you're truly talented and blessed, bro.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, brother. And where Papa to Sepa, it's Al Mega, and I'm out.
Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed this Comic Crusaders production. For real-time news on all things pop culture, please feel free to follow us on social media. For articles, original content, merchandise, and more, please go to www.comiccrusaders.com. Also follow along with all of the websites of the Comic Crusaders family. As always, if you like this content, please click like and subscribe to the Comic Crusaders YouTube channel.